Hello there, Lothar here, PCT through Hiker 2021. This is my third video on gear selection. This time I'm going to focus on some of the worn gear that I was using all the way through the PCT. So first of all, shoes. So I used Ultra Lone Peaks, and these are Lone Peaks 5s. I also used Lone Peaks 4.5s on trail as well. And on the previous video you'll see that I made a big deal about considering orthotics. I needed correcting my gait, my walking gait. These are a pair of orthotics I use pretty much 80% of the time on trail. I didn't use all the time, but I think they saved my through hike, certainly from stopping the knee injuries and knee pain that I had when I was doing some preparation before the PCT. Those orthotics seem to solve it for me personally. I would combine these with Dirty Girl gaiters, again very popular on trail. They do the job. They just keep the sun and the dirt and dust out when you're hiking. Not completely, but enough that they're certainly worthwhile. I would wear in the desert particularly sun gloves. Again, just stop me having to wear sun cream all the time and getting all oily on sun cream. Oh, I forgot something about shoes as well. When it comes to laces, I use these things. I think they were recommended by Dixie originally. Lock laces. They're basically elastic, and they're basically a clip that you pull in, so you're not actually constantly having to do a bow or every morning to do your shoes up. I actually found these really good, and all my hike shoes, I use these religiously now. So yeah, recommend those. Right, worn gear. So let's go from top to bottom. So head, I had a wide brim hat. Now other people had baseball caps like this with flaps that would give them sun protection. Again, personal choice. Lots of options. I kind of favoured this. It has actually a mesh, so your head's ventilated here. It gives you protection from the sun and the wind, and I was very happy with it. This gets a bit battered, but this lasted 2,650 miles on the PCT. Coming down, I'd probably be wearing a polyester elastane mix top. Now it's like Capelli, I think it's called. I used a Nike Dry Fit shirt for most of the desert. I also had a Columbia shirt, long sleeve, as a backup. And that I kind of swap them occasionally, but I tended to like the Dry Fit one. That seemed to work well. I also had a shirt later on, which again Columbia, which had what's called insect shield, which is, I think it's permethrin treated or something, but it's basically a shirt that you wear. It's normally like a hiking shirt, but it has an additional feature that it's got impregnated with a chemical that would ultimately keep or reduce the mosquitoes, and that again became helpful further on in the trail, particularly in Washington when there was a lot of mosquitoes basically coming out. Other tops I would use. So one top I religiously use, and again this is not my idea. This is a jacket. It's a wind jacket. It's called a Patagonia Houdini. It is in Britain. Most people look at this and think, how pathetic. It's a pathetic piece of kit. It's not. It's absolutely brilliant in terms of its versatility. It's a wind jacket. It is the jacket I would put on first thing in the morning when I'm warming up in hiking. I can zip it down and open it up as I'm getting hotter. It was an excellent insect protection, so I didn't have to wear a heavy kit. So it's also some barrier method. When I was in Washington, I could actually wear this as well, and it gave me a seal around the top of my body for keeping mosquitoes away. I wore this jacket probably more than any other piece of kit. Very happy with this, and I'd buy another one. In fact, this is my second one since the through hike. I've invested in the second one as a backup. I wouldn't go hiking without one of those. Next one is the warm jacket. Now this is the puffy jacket. Again, lots of options out there. I picked the Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer. There are lots of other options. It's down. It's water treated down, so I've washed this a few times, gone through the dryer, and it survived well. So I'm definitely have another one of those. Very happy with that. Going further down, trousers, shorts. Now there's a wide range of shorts and trousers. You can have shorts with liners, shorts without liners, trousers down to above the knee, below the knee, or full length trousers. Now I settled on just basic shorts from North Face with no liner. So I wore underwear, like which merino wool icebreaker pants or underwear, which you call, and then I'd have a pair of shorts on top, and that would be fine. And later on in the Sierras, I'd have a long pair of Arc'teryx trousers, again very lightweight, just to give me some extra protection in cold weather. And that seemed to work fine. Another piece of kit I had, this is more of a medical piece of kit, but it's also served as a sun shield, certainly through the desert when I was wearing shorts. These are compression calf kind of, I don't know what they're called, liners or whatever. Basically, they're very tight, and what they do is they do two jobs. One, as I said, when I was in the desert, I noticed I was hiking, I was getting sunburnt on the back of my calf. So these actually stopped doing that, and I didn't have to put long trousers on. But also they are primarily used for protection against shin splints. So certainly when I did my first road walk, I had my first experience of shin splints. And what it does is you put these on, you pull them up above your calves, and they're just like compression socks. So they're not full-length socks, but they're just compression around your calves. And somehow that helped reduce my shin splints when I was road hiking, to this point when I did the second road hike around, I think, Aqua Dulce. I didn't have the problem. So again, very lightweight, served as sun shields, but also as shin protectors. Now, the big one is waterproofs. Now, lots of choices around that. Now, through the years, I've had Berghaus jackets, I've had Marmot jackets. I settled on Zpacks Vertis jacket. Now, this is just my pack for my waterproofs. So I have a Vertis top and a Vertis trousers. Now, Enlightened Equipment offers something very similar, so I think from the reviews from Darwin, I think he prefers the Enlightened Equipment version, but yeah, I settled with the Zpacks one for no particular reason, and the fact I've been happy with it. It's got pit zip, so I like it's waterproof, and you can, if you want to ventilate, still hike with it. Now, with all these jackets, waterproof jackets in particular, because they're lightweight, yes, they have these super lightweight materials, but it also means they kind of concede that the hood is going to be a bit flimsy. So pretty much most of these, you need to have some sort of, either wear a baseball cap underneath to stop the hood from flapping, or I've got this little sort of visor things that I wear under that, and then the hood comes across. And this gives the integrity to your waterproof jacket hood, which on its own is not very good. But the combination works very well. I use that a few times. I use the jacket a few times. I use the trousers, the Vertis trousers, a lot more. So I use those particularly when I was going through early mornings when you've got lots of dew on the ground and you're getting soaked, and also when you're going through ferns and stuff, when up near Washington and Oregon early in the morning. The trousers actually just kept you dry, and it was just nice and they were nice and comfortable because they're super breathable. I actually wore them as trousers for quite a lot. One last thing is when you go after the trousers, your feet. Obviously, I talked about the shoes, but socks. Now, I use Darn Tough socks. Everyone uses Darn Tough socks pretty much religiously. They worked fine. Now, the one thing that you've got to accept on the through hike is you're going to get wet. So if you're going to use things like Ultras, they're not waterproof. You're fully accepting the fact that if you have waterproof shoes, they take a lot like Gore-Tex shoes. You can have them, but they just take a long time to dry out. And if you're going through rivers, Sierra, snow, ice, they're going to get wet every single day, and you'll never dry out. It's just accept that. Ultras and other shoes like that, which are not waterproof, dry out quicker. So how do you protect your feet against the cold? Now, one thing I used was these neoprene booties. Now, I used to do lots of scuba diving when I was younger, so neoprene is something that you wear next to the skin. The water still gets in, you still get wet, but the layer gives you that warmth to your feet. So I would wear these against my skin. I'd have the Darn Toughs come over the top, and then I'd go hiking, get soaking wet, but the neoprene would keep your feet warm, and that was particularly important when I was hiking in snow through the Sierras. Without these, I literally had blocks of ice in my feet. I tried it one day and I immediately switched to these, and thereafter I never went back. So show your feet some love through the Sierras. If you're getting very, very cold, try maybe some very thin neoprene booties. Lots of companies offer these. I think I can't remember where I got these from. The brand name is NRS. Maybe I don't know where exactly that came from, but it's just thin neoprene. So you don't really need to buy a super high value, high cost branded version. It's just to give you that layer to keep your feet warm. Best piece of kit. Now, as a backups, now I was always conscious of the fact that when you have these lightweight waterproofs and materials, it feels a bit flimsy, but it worked fine. I did have a backup set of Frog Dog top jackets and trousers in my supply box. which I bounced forward through the trail. Never needed them, but I had those as backup just in case. And I know some hikers just accept the fact they're not, rather than spend a lot of money on super breathable ones, they just live with frog togs. And I saw people using those as well, and they were happy with that as well. Gloves. Right, how do you keep your hands warm? Well, I used down gloves, just basically. I think they're here they are. So I'm trying to find them. There you are. They're literally woolen gloves. Sorry, down, possum down it's called. These came from Z-Packs. I keep saying Z-Packs, but you know, there's one option, and then I'd wear these, and then over the top I'd wear these shower waterproof gloves. This would be recommended by Andy Skirker, and that gives you the full flexibility of your hands in waterproof situations. So you really want to keep your hands warm and dry. I saw other people using things like this, like these mitts and things. I didn't like those. I went back to the gloves. So you looked a bit weird having blue hands on the trail, but that was it. Anyway, hope that's helpful to you. And yeah, I'll move on to the next video where I talk about navigation equipment and things like that. Okay, take care.